Hey, how you going? It's JLUV here with a video that honestly, I never thought I'd be making. You see, 2.5 years ago, before the okJLUV YouTube channel existed, the okJLUV Twitch channel existed, which still does exist, where I do still stream. But back then, I hadn't started YouTube and there were no videos on this channel. What I used to do a lot of was open up Japanese Pokemon cards, and I'm talking like a lot. 2 to 4 boxes, 3 nights a week, which eventually does add up. But you gotta remember back then, it was a simpler time where Japanese booster boxes only cost about 40 to 50 US dollars. And if you're in Australia, about 60 to 70. I was doing that for a few reasons. 1, because it's fun and I like collecting Pokemon cards. 2, because it was still affordable back then. And 3, because it was content. And I made incredible memories that I still cherish to this day. Those of you that started watching me over at Twitch, moved over to YouTube and are still here, I can't thank you enough. Without your support back then, I wouldn't be here. The one thing I used to get asked all the time was, why do I keep all my cards? Why do I keep all the bulk? Because primarily what you were doing back then was chasing the SR cards, like the full art trainers or the special art cards. The other cards like the GX cards or the V and VMAX and the rares specifically, nobody really cared about and nobody has cared about for a long time. Until about a few weeks ago. You might have seen a video that OpposumBud uploaded recently where he points out how some of the rare cards, specifically the Sun and Moon rare cards, are extremely expensive right now, ludicrously so. Now, Pokemon cards becoming expensive over time isn't anything new. In fact, it's totally normal. You expect something that is no longer obtainable to only increase in value over time because you can't get it anymore. That's the entire concept that a rare, sought after card is founded upon. But generally, that only applies to the full art supporter cards or the special arts or the hyper rares or the rainbow rares, and not to the rare cards that are extremely common and abundant in the booster box. Now, one thing I've noticed, especially on the Pokemon card side of YouTube, is that when you point something out that negatively impacts somebody else's vested interest, like their bottom line or their investments, that you get called a hater or a virtue signaler. This is something I've been dealing with for the last few months, and I don't particularly care about. I've learned to get over. The other thing I've noticed in tandem with that is that the more you try to push back on that verbally, the less people listen. And I totally get it. Nobody likes being told what to believe or what to think, which is why I'm opting to just show you why these rare cards, specifically from the Sun and Moon era of Japanese Pokemon cards, are totally worthless. Because if they are worth as much as people are saying they are, I am one of the richest YouTubers out there. And if you were opening Japanese Pokemon cards back then as much as I was, and I know there are a lot of you out there that were, then you're also sitting on a gold mine. Exhibit A is the first video that I ever uploaded on this channel. Japanese Pokemon basics and where to start, which is incredibly awkward. Japanese Pokemon cards are some of the most underrated and underappreciated cards in the cardboard world. With their sleek white and gray borders, holographic artwork, and top-notch quality control, they're a must-have for anybody who's an enthusiast of Pokemon cards. But also incredibly based because I broke down how many of each rarity type you're going to find in a Japanese booster box. Jarvis, roll the clip. For expansions from Sun and Moon, you'll almost always find 11 R cards, 3 double R cards, and either 1 super rare, hyper rare, or ultra rare. So there you have it. 11 is the number of rare R cards that you'll find from a Sun and Moon booster box. And within those 11 cards, you might find 1 or 2 of the TR, trainer rare cards. Those trainer rare cards are a little bit different to the trainer rares that we know of today, but they are the specific cards that are being pumped, in my opinion, market manipulated on the Japanese side of things. So is that it? Is that the whole point of the video? You spend 4 to 5 minutes just to show a 30-second clip from a 2.5-year-old video? No, I'm not that out of ideas that I would resort to such tactics. The other side of it is the ridiculous amount of these that I still have. Now, when I said I was a hoarder, I meant it. And this isn't even the half of it. We're going full zoom out on this camera. There's no rubber mat today because I want to show you specifically everything that I've got. Spanning back, well, not so much spanning back because we've got some EV heroes there. Back to sets like SM9B, which I'm pretty sure is Full Metal Wall. And I'm pretty sure it has some rare cards in it now that are going for about 100 USD. Reshiram and Charizard GX, which arguably should be a sought after card, but because of how many of these you'd find in a Sun and Moon booster box, they're practically worthless. Unless of course somebody says that they're not and tries to shill them. Now, this is the bit that I kind of get a little bit funny about because I don't want to come on YouTube and then just be an absolute hater. In fact, one of my more recent videos is talking about how much I detest that kind of behavior. However, When I see people, and specifically YouTubers, doing certain things that are impacting the collector space and causing people to leave it, then it becomes a little bit frustrating and, in my opinion, a bit of an issue. Here he goes again, virtue signaling. I don't want to see anybody leave the space, especially followers and subscribers that have been on this journey along the way. And some people might say, you just don't want to see people less interested in Japanese Pokemon cards, because then that'll mean there'll be less of them, less viewers, etc. for you. And I know there's no way for me to prove that, but that's not it. You got to just trust me on that one. All right, I actually don't want to wreck any of these cards, so let's stop monkeying around. I'll just show you some of what I'm talking about. If I rip up a set like SM9A, which, okay, this is Night Unison. There is a rare Gardevoir and Sylveon special art in it, and I was lucky enough to find that, but we don't have any footage of it. But you can see I'm literally sitting on multiple Venomoth. The Dene, which was a massive playable back in the day, it was like Crobat. We got more Pokemon here and a whole bunch of them. And you can just see I've got this ridiculous stack of rare cards. And I don't think we're going to find any of the trainer rares in particular that are popping off right now in this first stack. I've got like 6 Vikavolt there, which is actually ridiculous. And Guzma. Now, Guzma, I'm pretty sure is one that Opossum Bud showed in his video. Because back then, you got to remember, we were getting 2 types of trainer or supporter cards back then. Supporters that were illustrated by Ken Sugimori, which are like stock art. And then every now and then you'd get ones like these that are illustrated by different artists. This one by Masakazu Fukuda, who drew a lot of the Gold Star cards. And those are very popular, especially amongst vintage collectors. So I've only got one. Wow, way to prove your point, JLUV. You only show one of the trainer cards. But that's just an example of how big of a stack of just SM9A Night Unison that I've got here. Let's go to an example that is a little bit more relevant, that's got the Lillie card in it, because the Lillie card is the card in question that is, I guess, driving this whole thing. I was getting very worried that I wasn't going to find the cards that I was talking about, and I was going to look really stupid while I was trying to prove my point. So I went back into my storage and I found them. Here are the cards from Sky Legends. I might have been saying Full Metal Wall for a little period there. No, I'm talking about Sky Legends. So stack 1, you'll see a whole bunch of these Tag Team GX cards illustrated by Mitsuda Arita. And they're fantastic cards. These, honestly, they're great. I love them and I adore them, right? And I recommend everybody to try and get them and put them in their collection at the right price. Now, who am I to decide what the price of these is? I'm nobody, but considering how abundant they are, I mean, considering how many I'm showing you right now, I know 5 doesn't seem like a lot, but when you factor in all the other ones and the other cards that are kind of getting pumped at the moment, it feels a little bit weird to see them selling for anything more than like, what, $3? Even that is pushing it. So behind those, you got some Keldeo GX that nobody people really care about. And then we got these trainer cards, the ones that I was specifically speaking about, the point of this video. This is Jesse and James. I got 5 here. And like I said, you'll find at least like 11 total of this type of rare holographic from a booster box, specifically a Sun and Moon booster box. But when it comes to these rare holographics like this, I guess finding the 1 or 2 that you're after, it's a little bit harder, but it's still pretty easy when you're getting 11 shots at it. Now, I've got 5 of these, and I don't think Jesse and James as a trainer rare holographic is being pumped just yet, but you can see there's a big stack just in my hands alone. You're probably saying, hey, what's the point of this, JLUV? What, you're just showing off all the cards that you got? No, I think it's a little bit deeper than that, because if I've got them here and all of a sudden those Jesse and Jameses are worth like what, $10, $15 each, then all of a sudden I've just got $100 of bulk in my hand, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And that's ignoring cards like these, which I guess if those trainers, you know, stuff like this are anything to go by for the last week or two, naturally these are next in line. I think these are the next to be forced or pushed as a pump, because they're great cards. Again, Tag Team GX, the legendary trio, beautiful illustration by Mitsuda Arita. This is the pinnacle of the Sun and Moon era. He drew almost all of the Tag Team GX cards, the double rares, except for the ones from Dream League, and we'll get to those because those are sought after, but I got 5 of them just sitting there casually. One of the rares that I think is being pumped, Luzamine. I've only got 1 there in this stack here, but I got 3 of these Lillies, and these Lillies, this is the card in question. This is the card that Opossum Bud spent a bit of time focusing on his video. And even I'm flabbergasted. And I've got 3 of these. I'm sure he's got a big stack too. So arguably we should be smiling, but this is not a $115 card. I mean, it is if people start buying it, but I don't want you to buy it for that. I'm trying to show you how bad of an idea that is, considering I'm just a small guy. I'm just one loser. I didn't even do this that aggressively. I wasn't even opening packs that crazy. You know, maybe like 6 booster boxes a week, sometimes 8. For a 3-month stretch. It sounds like a lot, but I think when you consider how many of these boxes bigger streamers, bigger box breakers were opening up at the time, or people that might have just been doing this in secret, it should spook you. I mean, Reshiram and Charizard GX, Charizard historically, one of the most valuable Pokemon, and I got 5 of these again, fantastic card, illustrated by Mitsuhiro Arata, just sitting in this random bag, and that's not even all of them. This is from the set Double Blaze. You've got Machamp and Marshadow as well there. You know, fantastic cards, but so abundant. Even this one, this is super underrated. I love all the colors on this one. Again, Mitsuhiro Arata, fantastic card. Let's check out another set. Let's check out Tag Bolt. Tag Bolt has a lot of the alternate arts or special arts in Japanese that are popping off, especially on the English side. It is the home of cards like the Latios and Latias GX. You got Venusaur and Celebi as well. Snorlax and Eevee, the Gengar and Mimikyu. Fantastic card, right? It's just a phenomenally underrated set. But it also has this card. I mean, this is a card. I'm just giving you what I think is going to happen next. And Opossum, you just been in the same fire. You know, cards like this, a Charizard, which even I think already people were selling these Charizards for more than like $10 or $15. And I've got 4 of them. So are you saying that I should, like, I'm actually loaded? Even the Blastoise, like, this is a great card. There's just 5 just casually sitting in this bag that's just been sitting in a box. You know, don't you think that's weird? Don't you think that's scary? And that's not even looking at the cards that are being pumped right now, like the rare trainer cards. There's a Gyarados, which is wicked. Bill, Erica, like this is what I'm talking about. Why have I got so many of these cards? Well, I open up a lot of boxes and they're literally just sitting here. Like, this is the exact kind of card. I gotta pull it up. I'm gonna go to eBay. I gotta see, right? Okay, thankfully it hasn't happened to Erica. And now it shouldn't, because you've seen this video and you're going, okay, note to self. There's a lot of those Ericas probably floating out there. JLUV's sitting on all of them. It's almost definitely JLUV that's gonna be listing them on eBay. So I'm not giving that guy any money. No more sales for JLUV. Here's just an example of the Dream League bulk, where you'll see a whole bunch of Vileplume, some Zekrom and Reshiram, some Solgaleo and Lunala, which has Lillie on it. So, you know, technically we're eating. Are you telling me, hey, can we get some focus on this thing? Let's do it like this. You're telling me that these, look how much, man. I'm just one guy. I'm just one bozo. I'm just one dude yelling at a camera, talking about Japanese Pokemon cards. Why do I have so many? Can you imagine how many of the big breakers that are doing this on a commercial scale have? Maybe this was just an excuse for me to show all the Japanese bulk I've got. I mean, that's one way to diversify. Just rip out bulk and show it to the camera. But even stuff like Eevee Heroes, you know, Leafeons, you got Sylveons, you got Glaceons. Like, I fully expect these to be the next cards that are trying to be forced down people's throats as rare. And I don't want to see people get stooged by it. If Lillie is anything to go by, this is going to be the next one they're going to try and do. Now, I know I probably just sound like I'm just having a whinge, but I'm allowed to whinge too, okay? I'm allowed to have a little bit of a rant. I'm allowed to have a little bit of a sook, especially when I see people getting stooged, and I just don't like seeing people getting stooged. In general, I don't like seeing people getting taken advantage of. It's really frustrating. So here's some Dream League rares, and you can see the card I'm talking about. I mean, you knew where that was going the whole time. It's May, or Rosa as we know her in English. And I have a ridiculous stack of them. And I'm going to tell you what, so do a whole bunch of other people. Anybody that opened up any amount of Dream League, probably like what, 3, 4, 5 boxes, which honestly back then was probably the amount that the average collector or the enthusiast would go through trying to find the May or the Rosa full art support or the actual chase card. They're probably going to have a few of these on their hands as well. And if Lillie is anything to go by, Rosa is going to be the next one. In fact, let's just rip them all out. I'm going to put them in their own little waifu bag, okay? And I guess while we're at it, let's put Bill in there too. Volkner can kind of sit that one out. All right, let's not forget our Luzamine and our Lilies. There's our Lilies. Hold on to those. And finally, let's get some of this fella who, you know, I think is actually low-key pretty popular. So in my hand is probably about, what? If we get that in focus, about 20 different rare trainer cards that are just holographics. Like I reiterated in that really cringe first video on the channel, you find at least 11 of this type of card, and then of the individual card, you know, maybe 1 or 2 in a box. Rosa, there's 8 of them, and they're probably going to try and pump that next. Erica's Hospitality, Red, which is actually a base card. Lillie, which is already part of the pump, and there's just 3 of them. Bill's Analysis. There is so many just on this table alone. It's not up to me to decide like what's worth money, especially when it comes to Pokemon cards, because I'm not the arbiter of Japanese Pokemon card prices. I'm not the guy that decides. I'm just trying to show you how many of these are out there. Like these are, I've got stacks on stacks on stacks of these. Like I can do like probably like stack it up to the camera, and I'm going to risk it all. I'm going to risk it all just to stack it up to the camera really, really slow. Oh, Jesus. Really, really slowly, just to see how high I can put this stack of Sun and Moon GX and rare cards up. You know, if you are actively buying cards like these because you think they're going to be worth money one day, I think at the moment you're getting taken for a ride, considering they are so abundant. These are probably more abundant than the Sun and Moon cards in English from that era. They probably printed more Japanese ones. Like, you have to remember that these were sitting on shelves. Nobody cared about Sun and Moon cards, period, until the last like 3 months. They just were sitting there for ages and nobody was buying them. Man, I really hope this doesn't fall over. And then all of a sudden, even cards like Lillie from Sky Legends, and Sky Legends isn't even a set people cared about. I think Sky Legends was printed, like there was a ridiculous print run on Sky Legends. There was just so much of it. I think I'm not going to get this to the top of the camera, but I'm going to get pretty close. Sky Legends was printed out the wazoo, and now all of a sudden the Lillie from it is $115. All somebody needs is to have like 100 of those, and then all of a sudden they're sitting on $100,000, which is farcical. Wow, even look at this. I don't even show these cards. This is a very cool Charizard card, of which I have many, and the Blastoise. Look, and there's even some more. Oh my gosh, I've even got some more of the SM9. What? Sky Legends, again, this is literally covered in dust. Can you see that? It's filthy. It's disgusting how much dust is on that top loader. Let's put them on the stack there. This video should deter you from buying Japanese Pokemon cards like this. It should just make you reconsider. Anybody that's trying to push Japanese Pokemon cards on you on their eBay store, anybody with a YouTube channel that's trying to forward you to their store where they're maybe selling mystery packs. Think about it, how nefarious it would be if all of a sudden I just started pumping up Sun and Moon cards, the rares, the GXs, the tag teams, just the common ones that you were finding 3 or 4 of in a box. Just think about how bad it would be and how easily I could just make 2 months worth of videos, capture your trust, tell you how cool these cards were, then tell you how scarce they were becoming, maybe fabricate a few sales on eBay, Mercari, which is not difficult to do, and then all of a sudden direct you to my store that's selling them, or list them on eBay quietly under a burner account. I could really easily do it. I could be the guy doing it. This could be like a triple reverse psychology thing where like I'm trying to dissuade you and then I'm going to come. You know what I'm saying? Just don't trust anybody. You can't trust me. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Just see what I'm doing. See what I showed you and then come to your own conclusions. I haven't done a rant video like this for a while because I try to stay away from them because yeah, they're boring, right? This is boring. I'm bored. I was bored making this video. All right, I'm not gonna go that far, but I'd rather spend my time making like wicked content than talking about prices all the time. I just don't want to see people get burned. That's all. Because I know how annoying it is getting burned, and not everybody has the same amount of money. Not everybody can afford to throw money at the hobby. They've got a finite amount. Maybe it's only $50 or $100 a month, right? I don't want to see people burn their only $100 a month they have on Pokemon cards that aren't worth even a fraction of that. That's the video. Gonna go back to normal cool stuff later. Thanks for your patience. And thanks to everybody who liked the Paldea Evolved video. That was wicked. Your response to it was awesome. I put a lot of effort into that, so that warmed my heart. Thank you guys. Anyway, peace out. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.